Hello, hello, hello. I'm late. I had calls all day. I opened up my calendar for people, and so my call ran late. I'm Amy Shade. I am a women's and a handful of men's empowerment coach. And what I do is I get you reconnected with your passions and help you release the stories that have been keeping you stuck, which we're going to talk about today, and also awaken your confidence. As I said, I'm Amy Shade. I am an empowerment coach. I am here with you today to speak about stories, the stories that keep us stuck. So stories, what are they? Where do they come from? Well, stories are interesting because they help us make sense of the world, right? They tell us why we can't have something, why we can have something. I just got off the phone with speaking with 5 different people who have stories. I'm not worthy. I have no follow through. They have these stories about being unlovable. Some have stories like, I'm shy. I had that story. I'm shy. Therefore, you know what I mean? I can be quiet. But that story, they always have something sneaky behind that particular story. So, what does that look like? Well, our stories keep us stuck. Maybe you tell yourself you're too old. Maybe you tell yourself you're not smart enough, so I can't have that business. I'm too old, so I can't go back to school. And many people have this story about, I can't ask for what I want. People don't show up for me. My husband, he doesn't ever help me. Which brings me to, we can get very stuck in our stories, but we can also trap people in a story. Who can relate to that? Where you trap your partner in a story about how they don't show up for you. You trap your kids in a story about how they're not able to do the dishes, or now they're not able to do laundry. They're not ready to drive. And the thing about this and stories is that, guys, our stories really keep us from having this fulfilling, loving life. It could be in dating, like the story, like there's no good men out there. Or for men, there's no good women out there. That's just a story. But what is that story costing you? What is that story really costing you that there's no good men out there? What's the story costing you that my husband never helps me? What's that story costing you that, I don't know how to do tech in a business or something like that. I don't know how. I'm not techie. I'm not a good businesswoman. I'm not good at love. I always pick the wrong men. Is it costing you your freedom? Is it costing you your lightness in life? Because there is a ripple effect that happens with holding on to these stories that keep us stuck. And the ripple effect is that you play small in your life. The ripple effect is you don't allow love into your life. The ripple effect is that you're not able to bring to fruition your dreams and your wants and your desires. So what makes stories so sticky? Why are they so powerful? Well, first and foremost, it's how we communicate. It's how we make sense of the world. It's how we put people in their area, in their space, in their particular space that we know they will act and react from. So our stories really make sense of our world. But is that the kind of sense we want to make? Is that what we really want our life to look like? So as I was speaking on the phone today with potential clients, she said, is the goal to get rid of all your stories? I said, yes. The goal is to get rid of all your stories, but not only that, but the attachment to the story. So what attaches us to our story? First and foremost, certainty. We're right and you're wrong. certainty attaches the story. So it lives with us for a long time because we're certain that it happened a certain way at a certain time to a certain person. That keeps us stuck. Another thing that keeps us stuck in our stories is secrecy and silence. That is very sticky on a story when you are secret and silent about a story. It could be a trauma, it could be a happening that you don't want to admit. Maybe when you have that secrecy, you have that shame that comes up around it. And you have, as soon as you covet that story, it hangs on for years and years. The third thing that really keeps us stuck is our the way we grew up. So society could be our culture, could be our family. You know, we don't do it this way, we do it that way. You're not allowed to be an artist. You have to be a corporate person, right? So all these stories about who we are supposed to be and who we are allowed to be, they come in from our family, they come in from our culture, they come in from those outside forces that tell us who we're supposed to be. So in my case, I had this story that I was shy, but really underneath that story was I actually had a fear of rejection. And my fear of rejection came from my younger self, right? My childhood, where I was getting rejected all the time for being who I was. Who can relate to that? Like, you're coming out full force who you are, and then someone of a parent or a teacher or a family member looks at you and just cuts you down. That lives with us. So I did have that. I had that story of rejection because I was rejected. But it came out in I'm shy. And it cost me a lot of my life. That story that I'm shy cost me relationships, cost me a performing career, cost me living my life to the fullest. All I had to, I'm thinking back on that, and what I did for that was I went back to the fear of rejection. That's where I went to heal that part. So we've got our stories, we got our beliefs. What would it mean for you to be free of your stories? How would your life look different if you weren't repeating the same stories over and over? How would your life change if you went back to that pivotal moment and create a new perspective? What would your life look like if you decided not to fight? What would that moment look like if you don't need to be right? How would your life be different? What if you woke up, instead of saying, I'm too old to start a business, into, I am ready to start my business? How would your life change? Well, I'm going to give you an invite. I'm going to invite you to a free workshop on stories. I'm going to invite you. It's this Thursday. And in that, we really break down stories. We break down how we use them. We also get into beliefs, how to break those beliefs, and how to rewrite your story. I'm going to put the link in for you right here. And what we do in this workshop, it is interactive. Get your pen and paper ready. This is not just sit in the dark quiet. This is like, I am here. I'm ready. I'm going to show up. I'm going to change my story. I'm going to learn my beliefs. and how to overcome those beliefs. So yes, I would say the goal is to be story free. The goal is to release those constraints of certainty, release the constraints of society and our culture, and to release the constraints of secrecy and silence, so that you can have that loving, empowered life that you desire. You kind of caught me on the fly. I've missed you, but I'm here. I'm glad that I showed up. I hope to see you on Thursday, and thank you for being here. Bye-bye.